Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yeah, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are radio for the local craft beer movement, and we are broadcasting from Ironmonger Brewing in Marietta, Georgia. I'm Aaron Williams.
And I'm Tim Dennis, and we've got Brian Hewitt with us here as well. Brian, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Like Aaron mentioned, we are at Ironmonger Brewing, Marietta, Georgia. We're in their barrel room right now, enjoying some beers, having a good time. I'd like to take a quick minute, Aaron, to give a shout-out to our newest Patreon patron, Daryl Langley. Daryl, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to us. It helps us keep making Beer Guys Radio. Now, if you like what we're doing here, we'd love if you'd consider being a supporter as well. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys and just choose your pledge level. You can get some cool swag from us, plus you'll get early access to every show and other very cool Patreon-only content.
And you get Tim's personal phone number, right?
You do. Just call me anytime.
There you go.
Drop me a text.
Maybe
say
not.
What's up?
Exactly.
Bring me beer.
Oh, bring a beer. That'd be good.
Yes,
I think we'll do that one. Absolutely. So speaking of beer, we've been a week. We've been away for a little bit, but what was your week like? You were a wild man last weekend. That's all I know.
So I went to Sweetwater's 21 years.
Yeah.
Sweetwater turned 21. And I went hard and fast there unintentionally. But you ever have one of those that you hit it hard enough that you're like, I think I'll take the rest of the week off.
Yeah.
So that was my Saturday. I did that, had a lot of great beers there. Went over to the Woodlands. And if you haven't been to the Woodlands yet, you're in the circle, right, Aaron? Woodlands
Yes, I
Circle,
am, yes.
Brian, you're in there as well?
I am as well, yes.
So that's their membership club for their wild and barrel-aged beers. So went over there and they have an Oud Bruin that is coming out for the 21st anniversary. Fantastic beer. And I have a confession to make. I don't know if it should be a confession, but I had a Sweetwater Blue, Aaron.
Wow.
Gasp.
The bartender gave me grief for ordering. He's like, Beer Guys ordering a blue, huh? I'm like, don't tell me how to live my life. So
Exactly.
and I enjoyed it. That's a really good beer.
It's
tasty,
not one I'm going
so.
to crush every day, but
No.
you know what? It's a good beer. My wife loves
Refreshing,
it.
well made.
Yeah.
It is the second oldest beer that Sweetwater makes, and it is available in cans now. So anyhow,
There you go.
So that was it, man. I drank a lot of Sweetwater Brew and took it easy the rest of the week.
That's good. We had a bottle share at our work, and one of our employees was leaving, so we did a little bottle share to help him out and say goodbye. We had a Snake Handler from Birmingham, of course, good people, double IPA. We had the CLT IPA from Catawba Brewing, also a Fat Bottom Quad, which is a brewery, not a description of... Well, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. In Tennessee, and then also, of course, one of my workers actually brought in a Pilsner from Russian River, which was phenomenal.
Okay.
So that was
All right.
that was kind of a nice deal. But you know what? Usually, whenever we do this roundup, they'll be pale in comparison to what Brian has wrought over the
He's
weekend.
a trooper.
Exactly.
So I did the Sweetwater thing, and I, like Tim, was like, that was enough. That's all I'm going to drink for the week. And then I had a Cherry Street Step and Razor, Jekyll, Secret Apollo, Scofflaw Acquittal, which was very, very West Coasty. Like,
Is that an IPA?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow,
It's,
okay.
An
it's
IPA from
very
Scofflaw,
West
huh?
Coast IPA. Yeah,
Okay.
surprising,
All right,
right?
cool.
And a New Realm Kikimora and some Red Brick Table for One, and a Bell's Whiskey Barrel Aged Cherry Stout. So that was after I swore off drinking for the week. I had
course.
those.
Yeah, and of course, Brian and I went to Red Brick again for earlier before the show taping too for some Hype Whale variants too. So that was swore off drinking, make it a light week, right?
Yeah, but the week ends when we start recording.
Well,
the
that's
next
true.
show.
I guess that's
the
it's kind of
reset,
resets.
right?
I got
Hit that
it.
reset button, so
Definitely.
good deal.
All right. Well, let's check out this week's Truck and Tap's beers of the week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
Ironmonger. We're going to drink some Ironmonger beers, Aaron. We've got some good stuff. I came in and I had a Damascus, 1 day old. Is that right, Cam? Cam is the tasting room manager here. We've also got David Sheets, the owner, brewmaster, CEO, chief cook, bottle washer, all of that, right? Yes, got to do it. So,
Scrub them for us.
but had a fresh Damascus, really nice beer. I think we're sipping some Anvil right now. Is that right? We got us a picture of Anvil, and we're enjoying that. We've also got David brought us in some Trillium, fresh Trillium cans. We're going through that.
Wow.
We're having PM Dawn Stout from
I
Trillium.
tell you what, that is coffee on coffee on coffee.
Which I'd never heard of before.
No.
Such a thing. I'd only had their IPAs. We also are going to drink a Reclaim Ryan. That'll be our featured beer a little later in the show.
That's right. Excellent. Well, sounds like a plan to me. Now we've got lots of headlines, so without any further ado, let's get into it.
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines.
Hey, Brian, what's the headlines?
All right, so we have a lot of interesting stuff. We've got Smyrna approving a carry-out alcohol policy in designated quote-unquote restaurant districts. So this passed on Monday, and they also passed a resolution naming the Smyrna Market Village as their first restaurant district in the city. So you can take beer and wine served inside, outdoors, as long as it's in a paper or plastic cup, and you stay within the boundaries of the designated area. So that's really neat. These changes take effect immediately, but they require signage and the appropriate cups before you can actually do it.
I think a lot of cities are doing it like that. I know Woodstock, they've got, I think it's 16-ounce plastic cups there that you have to be in before you can take them out. So small price to pay, right?
Yeah.
Sure. And this is, in this case, it's no larger than 16 ounces. Okay. So can't go beyond that. One beer per person, basically.
Of course, everyone's just trying to follow New Orleans' lead by doing that as well. So, you know, they've set the precedent.
Look, I've walked all over New Orleans drinking 32-ounce Hurricanes.
Exactly.
There's no problem there.
So we're all just only like 30 years behind. No big deal.
Only. We're okay. Yeah, exactly.
So Halfway Crooks is making progress on their brewery in Summerhill. The permits have been filed. Construction is slated to begin in June 2018. According to What Now Atlanta, the budget for this project is $214,000. And as you may recall, we've talked about this before. This is a project between Joran van Ginderocker from formerly of Three Taverns and Sean Bainbridge. And this will be one of the first breweries in Georgia, or the first, to sell almost 100% of their beer from the taproom.
Very cool. I think that budget must be a small percentage, or maybe what they're doing right now, because if they're building a brewery for $200K, they're doing all right there, right?
Especially pretty much from scratch. Yeah,
it's a 1-gallon brewery.
That's
they
right.
will sell all their beer at the taproom.
I thought that seemed low, but that's just what I saw reported.
There you go.
So Highland Brewing Company has completely revamped their branding. That means new labels on their bottles and cans. They're very colorful, featuring a big red compass design over a stylized Smoky Mountains background. And the iconic Scotsman has been retired.
I like the new cans. I may be in the minority here, but I think they're pretty cool. They're bold. You know, of course, the old Highland Scotsman dude that's always been there is old school. It's great, but I just like the new direction.
You got to, I mean, they've been around a little while, and they've got classic branding, I guess you'd say. You know, revamping, refreshing, giving yourself a new but familiar identity is not a bad thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
As long as the beer stays good, we're good to go.
Sure, yeah. And they're really colorful, so I got to give them that.
What's their winter warmer, Cold Mountain?
Yeah, I was just thinking about Cold Mountain.
Such a good beer.
I didn't get any of that this year. I should have, yeah. So Sam Adams has gotten aboard the Haze Craze Train. They have released the Sam Adams New England IPA. It was a taproom-only offering, but it was their best-selling growler of 2017, so they said, hey, this is popular, maybe we should put this in bottles and cans. So it promises to be a medium-bodied, juicy pineapple and grapefruity type of hoppy beer. You got the usual hop suspects: Mosaic, Citra, Galaxy, Simcoe, and Cascade. 35 IBUs and about 6.8% ABV. So I think this will be a pretty big win for areas that don't have local breweries producing New England-style IPAs.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Sam Adams is known for making solid beer. You know, I mean, it's and so I'm sure this will be just amongst the same. And so it'll be good to see what they do. But like I said, everyone's jumping on that haze craze these days.
I don't think brewers, like the old classic brewers that just make solid beers, they don't get the love they used to.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy for the beer, and we chase the new stuff too. We always want what's new, but man, you know, there's breweries that have been doing this 20, 30 years that are still making good beer.
Sam Adams, Sierra Nevada, all those groups of guys. I mean, they're pioneers, and they're still cranking out good stuff.
So I have the next thing is borderline blasphemy to me. Guinness is launching a new line of non-alcoholic beer this month. I said that right, non-alcoholic beer. It's a lager, quote-unquote, called Open Gate Pure Brew. And so I've been seeing a lot of articles about non-alcoholic beers being a big thing. And I'm bringing this up because they are doing it with a different process they say is better that doesn't involve boiling the beer after it's made. My thought in bringing this up is the German Olympic athletes have been heralding non-alcoholic Hefeweizens as part of the reason they've been so successful in the Olympics.
Very interesting.
They drink that after they work out.
There you go.
I would love to talk more about that, but we need to take a break. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Check us out at beerguysradio.com. We'll be back with Ironmonger Brewing right after this.
Craft beer forged with a reverence for tradition and new styles that start a revolution. Ironmonger Brewing. The brewers at Ironmonger pride themselves in being masters of barrel-aged, hoppy and sour beers. They invite you to their tap room to taste and see. And coming soon, Ironmonger's Barrel Room, featuring live entertainment. Keep up to date on all things Ironmonger by liking them on Facebook. Ironmonger Brewing, establishing a new standard in craft beer.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com is our website, and we are here at Ironmonger Brewing in Marietta, Georgia.
Aaron, before we get into the interview, I want to talk about something real quick. We get sent products every now and then to drink or eat or listen to or what have you, and we don't talk about a lot of them. Because some of them we just don't get time. Others we just may not care for. But we got something this week that after trying it, we all really liked.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have a company called The Sweetery that sent us some snacks they're calling Beer Buddies. And they've got a Yippee IPA and a Rind and Stout. So meant to pair with an IPA. The IPA ones, they said, pairs with the IPA, Hefs, Lagers, Saisons, Belgians. And stouts, of course, goes with beer, with porter stouts and coffees. These are really nice, man. And they pair really well with the beers, they say. The Yippee IPA is slightly sweet, almost like a vanilla cookie with a little peppery punch, right?
Nice kick at the end of it,
The Rind and Stout is a salted chocolate, I guess, kind of. But it's really nice. Anyhow, this company is called The Sweetery. They're based out of Anderson, South Carolina. Their website is thesweetery.net. Check them out. They pair really well with beer, which we enjoy. We're snacking on some right now.
Definitely.
And just wanted to give those guys a shout out.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right. So now we're going to talk to Ironmonger. David, Cam, guys, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us on, man. Appreciate it.
So we've been sipping. We came in and we had your Damascus first. And Damascus is infamous for putting a little challenge up out there and stuff. But the Damascus we had is, day old, Cam? Did you say?
Yep.
Day old?
Dave kegged it yesterday.
Very good. Tell us about Damascus.
So Damascus, single IPA. It's fantastic. New England style IPA. So super juicy, not very bitter, very, very, very well balanced, very easy to drink. So.
Very cool. We enjoyed it.
Yeah,
very
definitely.
nice. Very nice.
Now you've we're drinking on your at Damascus, but also some other IPAs as well from the Northeast. Is that something that you really kind of zoom into as far as the styles go, or do you do a lot of different other things too?
Yeah. Oh, so we do everything. So West Coast and all that stuff. Actually, our number one sellers are decoction mashed Pilsner. That's just absolutely a fantastic beer. The Quench. Yep, that's what that is. And then Anvil's actually the one that we're doing all the fun challenges on. That's our double IPA.
That's Anvil that you've been taking out on the challenge there. Okay, gotcha. Well, Dave, we're going to back up just a little bit. Wanted to shout out there because we were drinking those beers. But we talked to you, I guess, about a year ago. There's been some big changes with your beer, your brewery, everything here. So I guess one of the biggest changes is you've taken the reins brewing here, correct?
Correct.
So how's that been, and what made you decide to take that move?
So, well, we've had some great people work for us. Absolutely love some of the people that have worked for us in the past in the brewing capacity. Just felt like we needed to make a change to really try and get the best beer out there that we could possibly get. So I've been brewing 16 years, so, I thought, hey, why not? Obviously, I'm not going to be able to be the head brewer forever.
Right.
So we are looking for some talent, here in Georgia or without, somewhere outside of Georgia to come in and help us. But we took that over so that we could really amp up our game.
Probably some long days for you right now, right?
Yeah. So I've been here since 4:45, and it's 10 o'clock at night.
It's about
something like that. There you go.
Somewhere
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
It feels
somewhere
like
in-
10. Though.
Yeah.
Right?
So hey, we should drink some beer. That's
There you go.
it, man.
Keeps you
Sounds
going.
like a
It
good
keeps you going.
idea. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Now we're actually taping in your barrel room right
That's
now,
right.
which is last time I was here, David. You had just started construction of this. It wasn't built out yet. But tell us about the barrel room.
So the barrel room is our live music venue. It's also literally our barrel room. So right now, I think we only have about 20 barrels in it. We do our lambics in here. We do, of course, all of our other barrel-aged beers. But we plan to have every single wall in here lined with barrels. It's Marietta's best date night. So some acoustic music, something you come down and just really enjoy a great time.
So come here, Stop at Cracker Barrel up the street for a fancy meal. You're good to
There you go.
Right?
Probably say go ahead and get some Uber Eats.
Okay. So I got a question for you. Does anyone besides me give you grief for using the word lambic?
What? Oh, yes. So everybody in the world gives me the grief for that term. So, the reason why I use that term is because that's what we try to do. So when we do English beers, we do all English ingredients with all English processes. Germans the same way, and then Belgians the same way. So we take our process extremely seriously when it comes to each individual region. So, it's an American wild is what it is. So that's a better way to say it. But,
we've talked a lot about these sour and wild beers and that, and how to capture with the American styles the proper one. I think Jester King did one they called Spawn. And they called it a methode goose. They got grief for that. They didn't want him to use the term in there at all. That's right. It's something, but it's tough to tell American drinkers to give them an idea of what they're about to crack open. If you don't use some of these recognized
the
terms.
term American wild could be, it's just so wild. I mean, there's just so many beers that fall under that term, and I do think that we'd love to figure out or coin a term for here in the South. The way we do it, the particular environment that we have here in Georgia to make open fermentation beers is actually fantastic. The air is just the right temperature. We do all of ours in the winter time for open fermentation, but it just the bacteria in the air is very, very, very conducive to making fantastic wild beers.
I think that in Atlanta, dropping hard vowels is part, like you say, Atlanta. Not Atlanta, Atlanta. Maybe we can call it lambic.
Lambic.
Lambic,
Get rid of the B. It's a lambic.
Just add y'all to the end of it. Lambic y'all.
Lambic y'all.
Yeah.
So have you grown up a house culture of bacteria and whatnot?
So we do have a mother.
You do have a mother now.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we and whenever we do the lambic,
I like that. There we go. That'll work. That's it.
You heard it here first.
Exactly. We'll culture it up and then pitch it. But we also, we do that in addition to open fermentation.
And it's interesting because a lot of their Georgia breweries are now doing a lot of open fermentation too. We've had Orpheus. We've had examples of Three Taverns.
Right.
A lot of the Woodlands Monday night.
Their cool shit.
So a lot of folks are trying to do that open fermentation and kind of keep it as local as possible. So that's a really cool way to kind of keep things there.
With it. We started experimenting with it 2 years ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
Get
ago.
this
we
2 week old
just got
lambic.
this. That's right.
Lambic.
It's probably not fermented out yet. So we started about 2 years ago with doing these experimentations, and you can really taste it in the beer. The beer as it ages gets more round.
Right.
So as it's young, it's got a nice spike to it in the taste, but as it ages, it has a real nice roundness to it, and it's really nice.
Very cool.
Develops some complexity.
Very awesome. Yeah. Now, is there any concern with having your lambics and your clean beers hanging out in this barrel room together?
No. So I hear that all the time about brewers that are afraid to have both of them
right
in the same building. Good processes, good manufacturing processes. This is a manufacturing plant, so if you maintain high standards in your brewing process, you're not going to have any issues.
Lock out and tag out those barrels, right?
So we do everything, when it comes to it. So, we go a little bit over and above some of the sanitation procedures that I've seen in other, breweries that I've been in, and it just makes it more safe for us.
Well, the last thing you want is for that culture to get in the air or get on your clean beers, because
I've
heard of breweries just totally gutting and replacing a lot of stuff when that happens.
Well, we keep different gaskets and stuff, and we boil everything. So we
because once those bugs gets in, they're hard to get out. So
they are.
You almost got to throw away anything gasket-wise or going plastic.
Yeah,
but
if it's not stainless, then you got to
bugs,
Again, professional brewers, guys that have been brewing for a long time, they know. Just do good manufacturing practices, and you'll be fine.
Very important to know. So we're going to take a quick break right now. You listen to the Beer Guys radio show. We are here at Ironmonger Brewing in Marietta, Georgia, talking to David Sheets and Cam Goershel. And we'll be right back right after this.
It's Aaron and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock and Alpharetta are always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy, Aaron. See, they've got 18 of them.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily, so that way you're getting a different menu every day.
Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and coming soon to Duluth in 2018. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guys sent you.
We are Reformation Brewery, celebrating the reformer in you. Locally crafted within the renowned Etowah watershed of Woodstock, Georgia, Reformation creates yeast-forward brews full of aroma and flavor crafted to last. Come see us in beautiful Woodstock, Georgia, for a tour and tasting of unique brews that you can't find anywhere else. Reformation Brewery, set beer free. ReformationBrewery.com.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What in tarnation?
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Follow us on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Beer Guys Radio. We're going to talk more to Ironmonger Brewing here in just a minute, but before we do that, Aaron has our featured beer.
Yeah, we've got a brand new one, or actually a brand new revised one from Creature Comforts.
Is it revised?
I guess it's not revised, but it's a new packaging.
There we go.
Okay. That's
All
what I was looking for.
All right.
Reclaimed Rye, actually, is the first beer that I've ever had from Creature Comforts back when they first started, but it is a 5.5% ABV amber ale, aged in French oak, and it's got some rye malt to it. So the oak, of course, gives it a little bit of that woodiness character to it, but it also gives us a little bit of that bite with the rye malt. So, if you like traditional amber ales, this one's kind of kicked up a little bit. It's been a popular beer on tap in bars and restaurants, but now they've just started canning this for the first time, and I believe this is going to be their fourth year-round release for Creature Comforts. So as they're moving into their brand new facility, I guess ramping up some of their production. But, it's got a little bit more bite, a little more complexity. For me, I'm not a chef, but if I was to pair this, I would do a chicken and waffles would be a good one there. And then I've also had this a few times grilling. So Reclaimed Rye for Creature Comforts. It's just hitting shelves across Georgia right now, and so check it out. That sounds
Very
like
cool.
a plan. Yeah,
I think most things pair. Grill?
I guess you're right.
Grilling?
Yeah.
Bring it on, man. Bring it on.
Just beer and grilling in of itself. I think that's a good excuse just to drink a lot of beer, is to make sure to tell the wife that you have to be outside and
Lammix and gooses.
Lammix and gooses and lammix and all that kind of good
Absolutely.
stuff. But
so our guest left.
He did.
He's not talking to us anymore. He's wandering around.
Exactly.
We're going to talk to Cam.
I'm just trying to be a good host.
Yeah, I'm still
Are
here.
you?
I didn't leave you.
Are you?
Well,
okay, whatever. Yeah. So Dave's tired.
Yeah, he's only been up since
been
like 4
working
o'clock.
And
So
brewing and talking and drinking. I want to talk to Cam now. I'm done with you. So Cam, let's talk about your tap room. Poser.
Let's talk about that.
So that's how we're going to start this, right? Poser Cam,
poses.
tell us
Come see me
about.
probably.
Yeah, right. So the tap room there. Now, question, and David, you actually may get involved with this one, but we'll talk a little bit more about your Naughty Soda brand, where you do hard sodas. And originally, your brewery here was focusing on the Naughty Soda brand. And Ironmonger was just kind of a, hey, let's have a couple real beers in the tap room for people, right?
Yep.
But it kind of flipped or evolved a little bit, correct?
Well, our passion's always been Ironmonger.
Right.
That's where we're at. Naughty Soda, we were on Food Network and CNN and all kinds of great things with Naughty Soda, and had a lot of opportunity with Naughty Soda. With that came some notoriety with it. Still the only all-natural hard soda on the market, so tastes fantastic.
Right, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, so, we use the real fruit to do it. So great product. We won't be back in market with Naughty Soda, probably until the summer.
Okay.
But
seasonal deliciousness. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're still interested in Naughty Soda, I always have a couple on my tap.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
do you still
absolutely.
do the thing with the red hots and the Naughty Soda? I remember
Yeah,
that. That was quite
cinnamon
nice.
shine.
Yeah.
So Cinnamon Shine's fantastic. So Cinnamon Shine will be coming back to the tap room in March.
Very cool. So, Cam, if folks come over and they visit, and we talk about the barrel room and we're talking about the tap room, because if people haven't been to your brewery, they are two separate spaces.
Yes,
you have the
they
tap room that's connected to your brewery. The barrel room is a separate entertainment venue. You've got a tap wall here in the barrel room. But so if people come to the tap room just to hang out, what can they expect on a visit there?
Well, usually we're going to have anything from 10 to 15 different beer options for them to try. You can get 10-ounce pour, half pours, which are about 5 ounces. I do flights, pints. You can even get growlers to go. And then you're always going to get a great customer experience. So that's one of the things that we care the most about here at Ironmonger is really making sure that when you come in and you come into our tap room, that you have a good time. You know, we've cultured an environment that is it's kind of like hanging out with your friends, hanging out in the basement. You can sit back, you can relax, talk with the bartenders, talk with whoever else is around the bar, and it's just a very comforting, warm environment to be. So that's a focus that we.
So if you're lonely, just come to Ironmonger and hang out with Cam. All day long.
There you go.
There you go.
Right.
I think that works.
Have a beer and hang with Cam.
I like that. I'll be here tomorrow.
That could be a slogan. That could be a slogan. Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about what other things you do in the tap room. You've got the crowler program as well, and as I was walking in, I saw a couple of guys walking out with some crowlers as well. How important is that for you all to kind of spread the love of your beer?
You know, it's actually been fantastic. So one of the things that we do here is kind of put an emphasis on having some really cool taproom special beers that you can't necessarily get out in the market or out at your local bar. And so what it's done is it's allowed a lot of people to come in here, try something awesome that they can't get, and then they're allowed to bring it and take it out with their friends and share it with them. And it's brought us a lot of people back in that say, hey, I had this great thing at this bottle shower. My friend mailed me this beer, or dropped off this beer to me, I should say.
Right. Yes.
Don't mail beer.
Don't
kids.
mail beer. Don't mail beer.
And
it's brought people into the tap room, and it's been great for our brand and great for getting our different styles of beer out there.
I mean, we went down and we visited Pretoria Fields in Albany last weekend, and they don't get out much area from just where they are, but that we brought back several crowlers to share, and I didn't give Aaron any.
I was going to say, we brought back crowlers. No one told me anything.
So that's I actually meant to. I'll get you some up here,
great,
David.
cool,
we'll get you
thanks.
some. So yeah, but you're right. So it brings their beer out here, even if it's within the same state. If we don't have to drive it across 3 or 4 states to a friend. You just bring it up to Atlanta. Yeah, bring it up to Atlanta. Share it. But
even here, in the Metro Atlanta area, I live in Lawrenceville, which is on the other side of the city. It's not easy to get here to Marietta. So, to even if we live in the same metro area, it's good to kind of see what's going on in other spots. So, you're not driving 3.5 hours in the Suffolk traffic to try and make it work.
We're open late on Saturday for you.
That's good to know. Okay, good. Okay, I got you. So now
I want to talk about this challenge.
Okay, let's talk about the challenge.
So we brushed on this earlier, but you had the Ironmonger challenge.
We did,
and it was a pretty bold challenge.
Yeah, I don't know if it was smart or not, but it was fun.
Yeah, tell us what that was and kind of how that worked for you.
So we, one of my business partners lives up in Boston, and we know Trillium's up there. So he brought me down some Trillium. And I just happened to have some of our Anvil at the same time and tasted both of them. Of course, since then we've had some other things, but tasted both of them, and oh my gosh, they were not the same beer, obviously. But in terms of quality, we were very impressed with it. So the whole challenge of Trillium Challenge was a blind tasting like Coke and Pepsi, so that you could taste some beers like Treehouse and Trillium and Viking Alchemist and things like that. Or Viking Alchemist, sorry. Love those guys. They're awesome. I love you guys.
They make beer
The Alchemist. Yes. I always say that.
Like, this doesn't taste like a mead at all.
It does not. Anyway, so we've taken all these amazing beers that people have driven down to us and let them blind taste Anvil versus those beers, and so far we're 78% winning.
Very good.
And it's interesting though, because over the years, 5, 6, 7 years ago, you had to go to Vermont, you had to go to Boston to get these types of beers, but nowadays they're all over the place. So it could be a little bit different, but we can get a great Northeast IPA from a dozen places here in Georgia. We don't have to have that friend who doesn't mail us those packages down here to have them. You can get them here locally.
True. Yeah, that you would think that unless you went on the Reddit Atlanta Beer Forum.
That's
and
true.
To some of the haters on there.
Yeah,
so
there's that.
There's a lot of Georgia beer fans, and there's a lot of salt on there as well.
Yes.
It's a lovely forum, great community, but
sure,
there are people that are passionate, about
passion's
about
a great
the
thing
beers.
in everything we do.
Sure.
So you know what? If you passionately hate our beer or you passionately love our beer, at least
there's some passion
love
there, right?
beer.
That's right.
Yes,
the worst thing to be is ignored. If you hate us or love us,
Exactly.
that's fine. But being ignored is not.
Indifference is the worst.
Exactly.
So have you done the challenge with the Lambics?
Have not done the challenge with the Lambics. So the Lambics are fantastic, but they are not funky, so they're much more clean than you would typically get over in that other country that makes the sour things.
Yes.
That country.
There's a different one. They call it a lambic over there. Actually.
Oh, okay.
So,
like a lighter?
It's
like okay. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Cool.
A lighter for sheep.
Yes.
Okay, this is going off the rails quickly.
Good stuff.
Anyway.
So let's see. We've talked about several of your beers. You mentioned Crucible. Now, I haven't drank that beer. It's I haven't seen any over here, David.
It's right there.
It's right there. Oh, that's
We'll just pop open the barrel.
Right there. Just
He's
go get some out of the barrel.
right
big
now.
old barrel. I can do that?
Oh, we got to have a thief around here somewhere.
Well, we're going to crack open a barrel here really quick. We're going to take a quick break, though, first. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, beerguysradio.com, and we'll be back right after this.
Time for the hot list. The Beer Guys have the scoop on what you need to know for next week.
That's hot.
Lots of great stuff going on this week in Georgia beer. On Sunday, we have Dalton Brewing Company continuing their grand opening weekend. Brand new brewery here in Georgia. Go check them out. We also have a Florida brewery that's been very popular that is coming to Georgia. We got Funky Buddha launching here. Now, Aaron, I hope I can get my hands on some of that maple bacon coffee.
Oh, that's good times.
I like
right
that.
there.
Even though they are sellouts,
Well, you know,
I'll still
there you
sip
go.
on that one. So on Monday, we have a Girl Scout cooking and beer pairing at Hop City Westside and Shakespeare on draft at Orpheus. Tuesday, we've got a whiskey dinner at Hop Alley Brew Pub if you're looking for something a little harder than your beer. And we have Tipsy Trivia over at Orpheus. On Wednesday, Reformation plays Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And we've also got New Realm Tap Takeover at the Beer Growler in Brookhaven. On Thursday, Creature Comfort's Get Comfortable release party at Barley Garden Kitchen, and it is the end of Winter Stout Showcase at my parents' basement. Friday, we've got Reformation releasing their Sabine the Seeker, which is a dry-hopped French Saison. We have the Sip and Swine Barbecue Festival at Coolray Field, and Monday night, West Side launches I'm on a Boat Golden Ale. On Saturday, we have Independent Distilling Company celebrates their 4th anniversary, and they're releasing Outlier No. 4, which is a rye whiskey. It is day 2 of the Sip and Swine Fest. We've got another Monday night release with Hello Beautiful debuting at the Garage, plus Beer, Bourbon, and Barbecue Festival at Atlantic Station. For a full list of events across Georgia, check out our calendar of events at beerguysradio.com.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I meant to do that.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show, beerguysradio.com. We are at Ironmonger Brewing. We're talking to David Sheets, and we are talking to Cam, and we are talking about Ironmonger beer.
Yeah.
We're having a good time. We got some Crucible. We were just giving you grief about not having Crucible before the break, so you were kind enough to get us some of this.
Cam stepped up. He's
was
just
kind
that
enough
damn
to get
good.
us some of this.
I had some tucked away.
We appreciate it, man. We appreciate
That's
it.
good when you
So-
break it out of the stash. That's very important. So that's
Absolutely. So we got a few more things we want to talk about
Yeah.
here. And one thing you mentioned kind of casually, David, was you're going to be doing some canning, correct?
Yeah, so we've got our beloved, in air quotes, Maheen, that we've been doing bottling on for the last year or two. But yeah, we're gonna get ourselves a canning line and put out some 16s and 12s and have a great time.
Do you think for like the 12 ounces format that bottles are dying? Are they a dinosaur now?
So I don't think they are. So
Okay.
here's the deal. When it comes to bottles, I actually prefer bottles. I think it's a little higher end package. I think it, just is better to drink out of. There's not too many cans that I'll drink out of, straight from the can. I'll put it into a glass. But I really think that for portability and packaging and the way it takes care of the beer, I think that, it's just a better package to go with cans.
My personal opinion on that, I've always, drinking beers, I like cans. Give me an IPA, give me a Heffa, give me, Saisons and that. Well, Saisons, I'll age those. I could go either way on those, but a stout or a lambic or something like that, I like the bottles. I like not just for the packaging, but like a big 750 bottle of a nice barrel-aged stout. It's a presentation. It's an experience.
I'm not going to do that
whole
on the
thing there, right?
on the lake,
Right,
or
exactly.
hanging out.
Right. But if you're hanging out, you're having a nice evening, you want to relax and have something nice. It's Brian even does this funky thing where he will twist the cage around the neck and store the cork there.
I will, because cork and cage is sexy, and I saw that somewhere, and I like the idea. If you use the cork or the cage, you can support the cork next to the the top of the
you should do a video on that on our Facebook page, because I think that was a really cool idea.
I should,
Yes.
and so you can look at the cork and you can take a sniff of the cork and the beer at the same time.
Well, there you go.
It's kind of neat.
You know, I do the same exact thing.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
So it's not just me.
It's not just unique.
All
Okay.
my Lambics and all those other cork and cage beers.
But cork and cage is sexy for aging beers.
You listen to cork
Until you're
talk?
trying to
That's
cork a
absolutely.
bottle, that's not so sexy.
Yeah.
But taking it off is...
Portuguese floor corker.
All that floor corking. Yeah.
That always sounds like a swear word or an insult to me. That's
It sounds like an X-rated
you
video to me.
Portuguese floor corker.
It probably is.
Yes.
It probably
All this cork talk is just is great stuff. That's
So which of your beers are you going to go cans with? Is it, I'm assuming IPAs and such?
So definitely Anvil, because it's so in demand. That'll be 16-ounce 4-packs, but things like Damascus and Quench will be just standard 12-ounce 6-packs. The one thing that we believe in very strongly is making very high premium beers at a great price. So we do want to try and hold down the prices as much as we can possibly hold them down. Very cool.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a lot more of the breweries down here doing a lot of the 16-ounce tall boys. You've got a lot of the New England, the Trillium beers and the Tree Houses have been doing 16 ounces for a while now. But we're starting to see that 16-ounce 4-pack kind of trend move down here still.
Well, when it comes to a 16-ounce pour, let's do an 8.6 beer.
Yeah.
Let's not do a 4% beer, unless it's a Lambic or something.
Right.
But, let's do something a little more premium, a little bit more fun, a little bit more special. So instead of doing a cork and cage, nothing against cork and cage, but instead of doing that, let's do a 16-ounce. I know. Sorry, Brian. Sorry, Brian.
I feel slighted.
If you want me to, I will wax the top of the cans.
Ooh, that helps. I was about to go for my slapping gloves.
Say yes just to make him wax a can for you.
Yes,
Take your whale
please.
player to a can.
We're going to have a waxing party.
He's going to wax your can and then get you a Portuguese floor cork.
That's crazy. I want a wax can of Lambic.
Wax can.
Wow.
I can do it for you.
Well, Aaron, to what you were saying earlier, too, about a lot of breweries in Georgia moving to that 16-ounce format, we're sitting here opening 16-ounce cans, passing them around and sharing them. And it kind of adds, you get obviously an extra 4 ounces, and it kind of adds to that sharing capacity and capability, which is something you always want, sharing beer with people. So I'd like to think there's some influence with that as well.
I personally am a very social drinker, and I like to try a lot of different beers. So, if I get a 16-ounce can where me and 3 buddies can get a 4-ounce pour, and we can do a few of those, we drink a little more responsibly because I'm not pounding 4 16-ounce beers at one setting. I get to try more beers, and it's a good shareable size. Or I can get a 12-ounce and get rid of one friend,
So, something, again, to talk about our 16s, we're enjoying these amazing Trillium beers, and they're fantastic, but that's a $22 4-pack.
Yeah.
And for a local beer, I think that, if we can keep that beer somewhere between 10 and 14 for a 4-pack, I think that's a much more fair price.
4-pack tall boys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and you're getting, and the price per ounce is down, and it's something that people can really get.
We don't want to, overcharge for.
So you're saying Anvil will probably be in cans, 4-pack cans for $10 to $14, probably, most likely.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
Pretty good. Awesome.
That works for me.
Yeah, we can do that all day.
We've been tasting spring here this week in Georgia.
It was like 80 degrees this week.
I saw that.
Isn't that crazy?
80 degrees. Crazy
I wore
stuff.
shorts
so
to brew this week.
See? It's I turned on my AC at the house
Maybe I
for a little
shouldn't have
bit.
said that.
So, yeah, curse it there. So, but with the nicer weather, I get to thinking about festival season.
Yeah.
All those festivals are coming up. There's a lot scheduled for, March, going into the end of the March. So, what festivals are you guys going to partake in, and kind of what do you see? What are the benefits of getting it? We're going to bring in some new blood here to talk about this festival stuff. So
see, there we go. See, I'm gonna put John on the spot. So John Rosen from National Distributing is here. So he's my bud.
What's up,
Swanee
John?
Beer Fest.
Swanee. Okay.
That's the next one. Yep.
Of course, Classic City. Athens.
That's a good one.
So, yeah, we've got that. So we've got quite a few casks planned. Something with Beer Fest that we find a lot. I don't really like to attend beer fest where it's just a drunk fest and you get the same beer you could buy in Kroger or whatever, grocery store you got close to us. So we like to send cool stuff. Now we do want to build a brand, and we'll always have Anvil and things like that to it. But we're going to try and send a little bit different stuff to the beer fest, so that you want to come to a beer fest. So it's just that's the kind of beer fest I want to go to.
Well, that's the thing, we're a different class of beer drinker. I don't know if class is the right word, but I think everyone gets
not class.
Different level of
right,
geeks.
right, different level of geeks. So, but there are festivals here, but there are festivals here that do cater to the I want to drink a lot of beer type of people.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with those festivals.
Nope.
They cater to a certain audience,
and
they've introduced a lot of people to a lot of craft beers. A lot of people have a great time there. Refined class. I don't feel like I should use those terms talking about us here. But we do go for a more selective selection at a beer festival.
We're passionate about beer and want to experience new beers.
And to be honest, if we and if we go to an average festival, we've probably drank 90% of the beers there. So there's just really no benefit for us personally to go to these. So we do look for the events that are more special, that are going to have a more selective choice of beers.
Well, and Dave said that we obviously want to build our brand, but I think that is also a good opportunity for us because we want to bring beers out. Like you're talking about, we want beers that are going to say, "Oh wow, that's awesome, that's unique, that's not something that we normally see at a festival." Well, that's kind of the way that we want to approach beer, right? We want it to be big, we want it to be bright, something exciting, something that you can't necessarily just pick up anywhere. So. Definitely.
Well, Cam, David, we've got to wrap this interview up real quick. If folks want to get a hold of you, keep in touch with what Ironmonger is doing, how should they do that?
So ironmongerbrewing.com, get on the naughty list so you can see all the latest details.
All righty. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for having us.
Definitely. All right. Now, Tim, let's give away something.
We've got a giveaway to give away, and we have a giveaway. I've been bad about talking to the mic.
You need some mic control,
today.
yes.
Our giveaway winner this week is Brian Russwinkle. Brian, thank you so much for subscribing to This Week in Georgia Beer. Drop us an email to beerguys@beerguysradio.com, and we will get you a very cool swag pack sent out. Now, Aaron, if others want to partake in the fun, be entered to win a swag pack, how would they do that?
Well, it's pretty easy. Just go ahead and visit beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer. You'll get a weekly newsletter with all the happenings in our craft beer world, and you'll also be entered to win our weekly swag pack, which is pretty awesome. Just sent one out today. Had some glasses, had some shirts, had some koozies, and all that kind of fun stuff that we get from our awesome sponsors and guests. Now, coming up next week, we're going to be talking with the man behind Orpheus Brewing, Jason Pellets, who's not only a brewer, but he's one of those musician types. Musician. Yes, trumpet player.
That was tough for you.
That took me a couple of seconds to figure that one out.
Congratulations on making it through that, Aaron. So.
Yeah, that was tough. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and talk to the Renaissance man, Jason Pellet, next week. Check us out at beerguysradio.com, and we'll be on the socials as well. And don't forget to drink local. Cheers, and we'll talk to you next time.